Very good morning to all. We are discussing about the bevel gear. So, after having insight into what is the bevel gear, what are different types of bevel gears as per as the shape and tooth profile is concerned, and as per as the angle is concerned, what are the different types that we have discussed. And let us start today about the bevel gear terminology. So, it is based on this terminology, we will discuss what are the different terms. We already discussed about this spur gear, then helical gear. And now, as a spur gear, teeth circle straight. Whatever the standard terminology for gear is there, it is applicable to spur. In helical, we have discussed about the what are the different things as per as the helix angle and helical teeth, virtual number of teeth or formative number of teeth. That now in the same manner we will discuss about this bevel gear also. So let us start with bevel gear terminology. So a bevel gear is shown. You can see the bevel gear complete terminology is shown. So how the bevel gear is imagined, that let me tell you. So if I refer this, see the figure, whatever is there, and then I will try to highlight like this one center line if you draw from this. And then see, this is the, you can say the bottom or root side. Then this is the top side. So like that, the center lines are drawn from this side, and again here also from this side to this side. So if you refer here, then you can clearly observe what is the root and what is the face. So I am just trying to give insight by taking referring the figure of this 3D. So here you can say clear cut that one will be at root side, other will be at face side, and like this the figure will be there. In this case also, similarly, one will be at one side, and these are the pitch lines drawn. And by now you are having idea. Now you can see here. I will highlight in this here what you can call this as the face. Just I have given you the idea from the 3D diagram, and here this is the root where the gear is. Huh? Then same thing is there. So this you can call it as the face, sorry, root, and this you can call it as the face. So after drawing these lines, and imaginary lines are drawn. Imaginary lines are drawn at the center. So this is called as the pitch line. If you can refer, then from the diagram, exactly at the center, you can see this line. So this line is called as pitch line. Okay, so and they are meeting at one point. So this is the pitch point, and whatever cone you will observe, you can see. I will now completely, I will give time for drawing. So I will now highlight completely. So see, whatever this cone you will get, the completely whatever cone is formed in this figure, I can explain you like this. So and this is the, you can say, center line. So this is the pitch cone. Pitch cone is an imaginary cone, the surface of which contains the pitch lines. So whatever we have shown here, you can call this as the pitch lines. At the center they are shown, and whatever they are forming, it is the imaginary lines, and it forms an imaginary cone. So this is very first about the pitch lines and pitch cone. Okay, then in this figure, whatever the angle made by the center line with the pitch line. So I can highlight here. If you can refer the angle, this angle is nothing but I have mentioned about to center line only. Yeah, whatever face is shown, it is different. So center line, this angle you can see on this side also. Whatever this angle is there, this angle is nothing but gamma. This is the pitch angle. This is the pitch angle. Then from center line to outside edge. Outside edge. This is the face angle, and from center line to inside line where the root line is there, it is the root angle. So we will see the relation between these also. Then whatever this angle you can see, it is the addendum angle, and whatever this center line to root line, dedendum angle, and center line to face line, addendum angle. So these are the some terms which you can refer in this particular diagram. So I will take 1 or 2 minutes for drawing the diagram. This diagram we will take help. Okay. So now you can see the clearly all the angles, and in the second diagram also, if you refer, some more terms are shown here. So I have already given you what is this pitch angle. So here the pitch angle gamma is mentioned. Okay. Apart from this, the A naught, the cone distance is mentioned. B is the face width. So whatever you can refer as per our standard terminology, whatever the face width, it will be there. So just I am highlighting this 3D for your better understanding purpose. So whatever you will get this measure, so you can take any teeth and then you can go for measuring. So you can call it as a face width. So B is the face width. Then you can see in this another diagram, HA stands for the addendum and HF stands for the dedendum. Again, we will discuss in detail. So here you can see in the diagram, HA stands for the addendum. This is the distance shown, and HF stands for the dedendum. You can see the distance. So this is dedendum, and the distance is called as addendum. Okay. Then now back cone. So what is the concept of back cone? I will give you this concept from this line. So here one angle is there. If the lines are extended, take any one teeth from this side, back side, and if the angle is somewhat extended like this, and whatever the it is extended like this. So whatever cone is formed of imaginary, this is called as the back cone. This is called as the back cone, and very important. Whatever your pitch line is there, the angle between this pitch line and back cone is a right angle. So here you can see this. It is shown clear cut here. So here you can see this is the back cone. If I want to highlight, I will say, just for your understanding, I am highlighting this is back cone, and this is your pitch cone, and this right angle is right angle. Okay, so this is the concept of back cone and pitch cone. Let us go move further, and let us discuss some more points related to this. So you might have drawn this diagram, and let us discuss one by one further more points. If you understand the behavior terminology, then whatever the further things that are much more easier for you to understand. So very first I have given you idea the pitch cone. This diagram we have referred just for understanding purpose, that what we have discussed now, what is the concept of this particular back cone and what is the concept of this cone. So for understanding these particular points, we have taken this reference of this diagram. So let us proceed further. So next, cone center. Whenever the imaginary pitch lines are there, they are meeting at point O. So we have discussed what is the imaginary cone, what is the pitch line drawn, Then what are the different lines constructed? After noting all these, if you observe, the pitch lines are meeting at this one particular point O. Take refer here also, pitch apex. So in this 3D for your reference purpose only. So whatever pitch lines are drawn, imaginary pitch lines, they are meeting at one particular point, and this is the cone center. So apex of the pitch cone is called as cone center. So here the cone center is shown, it is denoted by O in the diagram. Then next, cone distance. So the cone distance is nothing but denoted by A naught. Cone distance is the length of pitch cone element. It is the length of pitch cone element. It is also called as pitch cone radius, denoted by A naught. So whatever the distance from point O up to the end of this segment, whatever the distance is there, it is nothing but your A naught. It is nothing but your A naught, that is cone distance. Pitch angle. Already discussed, already given you idea. This pitch line's angle between the pitch line to the center line. So angle that the pitch line makes with the axis of the gear. So you can say here, this is the axis of the gear. Okay, and this is your pitch line. So whatever angle made by this, denoted by gamma. So angle that the pitch line makes with the axis of the gear, it is called as pitch angle, denoted by gamma. The pitch angle is also called as center angle. Then addendum angle and dedendum angle. So I have already given you the idea, addendum and dedendum angle. The angle subtended by addendum at the cone center and the angle subtended by dedendum at the cone center, it is denoted by alpha and delta. So in this figure we can see, so angle subtended here once again, this is the face, if you can refer. This angle I will call it as addendum angle, denoted by alpha, and this angle subtended by a dedendum, this you can call it as delta. So the face to center line, addendum angle, and this pitch line, on pitch line to root, that is dedendum angle. So angle subtended at addendum by the addendum, it's at the cone center, is called as addendum angle, denoted by alpha, and denoted by delta, dedendum angle. We have discussed what angle we can call it as addendum and dedendum by taking the reference of the figure. Now moving next, face angle. Face angle is the angle subtended by face of the tooth at cone center. So now see here, this complete angle is called as the face angle. This complete angle. So I know up to center, I will call it as gamma plus whatever this is nothing but alpha, addendum angle. So I can say here, face angle is equal to pitch angle plus addendum angle is given by gamma plus alpha. So face angle is given by gamma plus alpha. Next concept, root angle. The root angle is the angle subtended by the root at the cone center. So root angle you can see, I want only this angle. So it is gamma minus, I have to minus this particular smaller angle. So this is nothing but dedendum. So root angle is pitch angle minus dedendum angle. So I can say here gamma minus delta. This is nothing but your root angle. I am telling you all this by taking a reference of the figure. So if you understand the concept, what is gamma, what is alpha, and what is delta, then you can easily go and go for this drawing all the conclusions that how face angle is equal to pitch angle plus addendum angle, and root angle is equal to pitch angle minus dedendum angle. So you can easily go for drawing and concluding these remarks. Okay, then back cone. Back cone is an imaginary cone and its elements are perpendicular to element of pitch cone. So in this diagram, I will highlight. So you can see here, this angle I will call it right angle, this angle also a right angle. So I have already given you idea by taking the reference of the 3D dash. Whatever this angle at the back side, it is back angle, and whatever this Okay, so the back cone is an imaginary cone and its elements are perpendicular. So whatever this gear shape, so I can highlight here. So like this, the back cone is formed, and the same element is taken from other side also. I have given you the idea at this side, and the back cone is formed. And the back cone, very important, its elements are perpendicular to the elements of the pitch cone. We require this relation while calculation. Okay, then back cone distance, very important. Back cone distance. So back cone distance, it is the length of the back cone element. So it is the length of back cone element. It is also called as back cone radius. So you can see AC. I will highlight here only point A to point C. So whatever AC distance is there, it is called as back cone distance. It is also called as back cone radius, and it is denoted by RB. It is denoted by RB. So whatever the distance AC in the diagram, it's called as the backbone distance. It is the length of the backbone, and it is also called as the backbone radius. And here we can say that it is denoted by RB from taking reference to the diagram. So this is about the terminology of bevel gear. So very first, a 3D diagram is shown for ready reference and better understanding. And how it is the 3D diagram is considered as this element terminology that we have discussed in detail, and we have discussed the different terms related to bevel gear. Now, let us move to next bit, that is virtual number of teeth. So virtual number of teeth, as we have discussed, the same concept in case of helical gear, the same concept here. Before proceeding for the virtual number of teeth, let us have a revised concept of helical gear. So in helical gear, we have cut the helical gear at right angle, and a spur gear is imagined, or imaginary spur gear is assumed in a plane perpendicular to the right angle at helical gear, and that particular imaginary spur gear we have called it as virtual gear. And whatever the number of teeth on that particular imaginary spur gear, we have taken it as virtual number of teeth, or I can call it as imaginary teeth, formative number of teeth. So the same concept we have to go here. Here also we have to assume the formative gear, and we have to proceed. We have to assume spur gear in a plane. Now, if you proceed, before proceeding further, let me show you one more thing. If you see the teeth, and the dimensions, so here you can say, I will say this is the smaller end, and here you prefer the teeth. So this is the, you can see from the diagram, this is the larger end of the tooth. So for bevel gear, all the dimensions or whatever the gear radius module, all will consider at larger end only. Whatever we will give, it will be based on the larger end. So here, from the smaller end to larger end, the dimensions will change. At this point particular, the PCD will be different. At this point, PCD will be different. Here, all the dimensions you can say they are different, and at this end the dimensions they are different. This is the terminology because the gear shape is like that. It is one side smaller and one side larger. Therefore, for the analysis purpose, always the larger end is preferred. This is very first thing that we should take in consideration. And now let us proceed here. So an imaginary spur gear is considered in a plane perpendicular to tooth at larger end. So that's why I have given you the concept. Why larger end? So an imaginary spur gear is considered in a plane perpendicular at larger end. So larger end we have discussed, I have shown you what is called as larger end. RB is the pitch cone radius of this imaginary spur gear. So definitely, now I will highlight here. Definitely this side will be your larger end. No problem at all. Okay. So now RB is the pitch circle radius. So see here, whatever the imaginary spur gear is considered, for better understanding, it is shown that how it looks like. So it is the view taken from this side, how it looks like, and it is shown. So we have already discussed the distance AC. The distance AC is the cone distance or a back cone length, we can say, and it is also called as the radius. So what RB? So I can say RB is the pitch circle radius of this imaginary spur gear. RB is the pitch circle radius of imaginary spur gear, and Z dash is the number of teeth. Z dash is the number of teeth on this gear. The gear is called as formative gear. I have already given you idea as we are saying virtual and imaginary. So this is the formative gear, and whatever the Z dash will be there, we will call it as formative number of teeth or virtual number of teeth. So whatever Z dash will be there, it is formative or virtual number of teeth. These are the teeth on the imaginary spur gear, which is imagined at the larger end, and RB is the pitch circle radius at the larger end. So in the diagram, other things already we have discussed. A naught is the cone distance, HA stands for the addendum, HF stands for the dedendum. We have already discussed what is addendum and dedendum. Then B stands for the face width, as shown in the figure. Then this side, whatever pitch line is shown, gamma is the pitch angle, and here backbone is shown. Okay, and a perpendicular is drawn from AB. So let us say AB is perpendicular to OC. Let us say AB is perpendicular to OC. Okay. One more thing I want to say here. So angle BCA. So if I want to highlight this particular angle, so you can say this angle is gamma. Okay, if I complete here, this angle is 90 degrees. So whatever this angle become, it will become 90 minus gamma. If we consider the complete triangle ODA, then it will become 90 minus gamma. So angle BCA is 90 minus gamma. This we will use in further calculation. So I request you to put the heading as virtual number of teeth, and let us go for deriving the relation between actual and virtual number of teeth. As in helical gear also we have gone for the Z dash is equal to Z divided by cos cube of psi. The psi is the helix angle. So let us see here what equation is arriving. So the formative number of teeth Z dash is given by, okay, Z dash is equal to D by M. So here D is nothing but twice RB, because PCR, pitch circle radius is RB. Therefore, two times PCR, it gives diameter. Therefore, it is mentioned here that Z dash is equal to twice RB. It is nothing but D by M. So D is nothing but pitch circle diameter at the larger end of the imaginary spur gear. It is given by twice RB. Okay, where M stands for the module. Now let us assume that Z is the actual number of teeth. Then we can write Z is equal to D by M. This is the formula for this we have written in the plane for virtual. Imaginary, this is for actual. And let us go for Z dash by Z. So if I go for Z dash by Z, M will get cancelled. So Z dash by Z, you will get twice RB divided by D. M get cancelled. Now let us consider triangle ABC. So consider triangle ABC. So angle BCA, this angle is considered. This angle is considered. So this angle is 90 minus gamma. This angle is 90 minus gamma. How? That I have given you idea here. If you consider this triangle, this complete triangle, if you take, this angle is gamma, this is 90 degree, therefore this will become 90 minus gamma. Therefore, you can say here only the angle BCA is equal to 90 minus gamma. So here you can say in the diagram, so let us go for the sine of 90 minus gamma. What it will be, that we will write down now. What is sine 90 minus gamma? So sine of BCA is equal to AB divided by AC. So very simple. Sine of this 90 minus gamma, BCA means 90 minus gamma, is equal to opposite side AB divided by hypotenuse AC. So AB is nothing but D by 2. If you consider this A to B and this complete distance, so it is this point to this point. So it is mentioned as D. So AB is nothing but whatever, if you take the 50% part of this, so it is D by 2. So it will become, I will highlight here for you, D by 2, and AC is nothing but RB. So you can say here RB is equal to D by 2 sin 90 minus gamma is nothing but cos of gamma. So RB value is substituted, and now substitute this RB value in your Z dash. So Z dash is equal to twice RB. I can say twice RB, D divided by 2 cos gamma into M. 2 get cancelled, and this Z dash is equal to D by M is nothing but Z, and remainder cos of gamma. So you will get this ultimately. One step is missing, therefore I have gone for this stage. So this is you get relation you will get for relation between virtual number of t, Z dash is equal to Z divided by cos of gamma. Using this relation, if we can calculate the virtual number of teeth if actual number of teeth are given. So very important relation. Write down this relation, Z dash is equal to Z divided by cos of gamma. Okay, let us proceed further. This is a pair shown. Now we have discussed about only this one side. Okay, one. Now the gear pair is shown. So pinion as well as gear. So let us assume that dP and dG are the pitch circle diameter for pinion and gear. It is shown here, so you can refer here. So I will say this as the pinion, and larger one, this I will call it as a gear. So dP is the pitch circle diameter shown here, dG is the pitch circle diameter for pinion and gear respectively as shown in the figure. A naught is shown as the cone distance. Okay, now gamma is the pitch angle. And again, this is also gamma. So this I will call it as the capital gamma. So whatever we are referring, this in terminology, smaller gamma. And if you refer in terminology, so this is called as the capital gamma. So both are gamma only. So this small gamma, as per our standard convention, this is the angle, pitch angle for pinion. This is the pitch angle for pinion, and this is for gear, pitch angle for gear. Okay. So here you can see clear cut in the diagram only. So it is shown pitch angle for pinion, pitch angle for gear. It is shown by this symbol like this. Okay. So line AB is perpendicular to line OD. So say see line lines AB is perpendicular to line OB. Okay. Consider triangle OAB. So considering triangle, this small triangle OAB. So you can say tan of gamma is equal to AB means dP by 2 divided by OB means dG by 2. So this tan of gamma is equal to AB. AB is nothing but dP by 2 divided by OB. OB is nothing but dG by 2. So from the diagram, I can say that tan of gamma is dP by 2 divided by dG by 2. So 2 get cancelled. I can write tan of gamma is equal to dP by dG. Okay, tan of gamma is equal to dp by dg. We are having dp is equal to mzp, dg is equal to mzg. So we can write tan of gamma is equal to mzp by mzg. Then we will arrive, get cancel. We will arrive at this particular equation. Tan of gamma is equal to zp by zg. If the gamma angle is not given and if number of teeth are given, we can calculate by using this relation. Tan of gamma is equal to zp by zg. We can calculate gamma and we can proceed for solving the numerical. Very important. Now similarly, if we go for this other side, so tan of the larger gamma, so you can go for, in this side you can go for it. So tan of larger gamma, it will be becomes dg by 2 divided by dp by 2. So dg by dp, mzg by mzp, ultimately you will get tan of gamma is equal to zg by zp, exactly opposite. So I can say here, you will get this tan of larger gamma is equal to zg divided by zp. Very important thing we have to keep in mind that if you see this angle, so this figure only clear cut indicate that whatever this gamma plus the larger gamma, they are, the addition will be equal to 90 degrees. Addition will be equal to 90 degrees. So also this gamma plus gamma is 90 degrees. Now let us calculate the cone distance. So let us calculate the distance, cone distance A naught. Let us calculate the cone distance A naught. So I can say if I join this, so it is dg by 2, dp by 2. So A naught square is equal to dg by 2 plus dp by 2 square. So A naught is equal to under root of dg by 2 square plus dp by 2 square. So it is raised to 0.5 shown, means it is nothing but, I can say in the numerical it is asked how to calculate this A naught. A naught will be equal to under root of simple Pythagoras is used, dp by 2 bracket square plus dg by 2 bracket square. So this is the A naught. You can refer simple Pythagoras is used for calculation of this A naught. Once again, I will repeat here in the diagram. So if you refer this distance as dp by 2 and ob this distance as dg by 2 and you are calculating A naught. So use simple Pythagoras. You can easily say that this dp by 2 square plus dg by 2 square is equal to A naught square. Therefore, A naught is equal to under root of dp by 2 plus dg by 2 squares. Okay, addition. So as shown in the diagram. So this virtual number of teeth formula, once again I will repeat, z dash is equal to z divided by cos of gamma. This equation is required in calculation. Virtual relation between virtual and actual number of teeth, z dash is equal to z divided by cos of gamma. Then from this diagram you can say tan of gamma is equal to zp by zg. By using this equation you can calculate gamma, or if gamma is given you can calculate the unknown number of teeth on maybe pinion or gear, and then you can calculate the A naught, the cone distance. It is nothing but under root of dp by 2 square plus dg by 2 square. So this is virtual number of teeth and these three formulas are important. Now let us proceed for the next part, force analysis of bevel gear. Force analysis of bevel gear. So before proceeding for this detailed diagram, what are the different forces considered and what are assumed and how it is required to be shown? The sign conventions are different. The image, the source is shown from where the image is taken. So you can see just for a better understanding purpose. So teeth are not shown. So in this diagram, the teeth are not shown. Whatever the shape of this helical you can see, it is the shape of the helical and at the center point. Not at the larger end, not at the smaller end. At the center point, the resultant force is there and the resultant force is divided into two main forces. So you can take help of the diagram and then we will give to our sign conventions what is. This is diagram for your understanding purpose. So how the force analysis is there. So this you can see the bevel gear. And in the bevel gear at the center, the force analysis is concerned. And the force is in our diagram. It is shown by this dotted line. So if I will highlight here, so this is P, you can see. And whatever this BD, if you refer the diagram from point B to point D. So from B to point D, whatever the force is shown, it is nothing but the whatever from point B to D it is shown, it is nothing but your resultant. Now here the resultant force is mainly divided into parts, PT and PS. So very first it is divided into whatever the line is there, CD, it is nothing but PT, and whatever the line AD, it is nothing but PS. PT known to you, tangential, PS the separating. And further the separating component as this is not at right angle, so we have to again resolve it. So the separating component is divided into PR and PA, the axial component and the radial component. So some different terminology is there. Therefore, for better understanding purpose, we have discussed first this concept, that how the force analysis is there. So you can see the basic profile of this particular bevel gear, and at the center point the forces are acting. So here you can see, now in the force analysis it is assumed that the resultant force of two meshing teeth pair of bevel gear is concentrated at midpoint. I have shown you in the 3D that how it is concentrated at midpoint. In the 3D we have discussed, and now this is resultant force P. So in our diagram you can see BD. So we will go for considering these two different diagrams, and we will try to go for different equations, and ultimately we have to calculate PT, PR and PA. Okay, so resultant force shown by dotted line P, and the resultant force has three major components. The three major components are PT, PR and PA. The tangential component, the radial component and the axial component. So here you can see PT, then PR and PA. The direct components are PT and PS. The direct component of this dotted line BD, resultant force P, are PT and PS. And the PS is further resolved into two components, PR and PA, as shown. So now in the next two diagrams, we will be considering here you can see A, B, C, D, like that you can say. So this is one plane which is shown, and again we can consider the A, F, D, E. So from this we can go for this relation between PT and PS, and from this we can find out the finally PR and PA by using the PS relation. So in this way we will proceed. Now from the diagram what is shown and what is the alpha angles are shown, let us proceed further. Okay, alpha is the pressure angle while gamma is the pitch angle. So we have considered our here first triangle. So the consider plane A, B, C, D. This plane I have given you idea by looking toward this particular diagram. Looking toward these particular diagrams, the planes are shown. So A, B, C, D plane is shown. So here PT and PS you can calculate. So by considering two different planes, we will be proceeding further. So here you can see, consider plane A, B, C, D. From triangle B, C, D. So see here, from triangle B, C, D. This angle is alpha. So tan of alpha is equal to BC by CD. So tan of alpha is equal to PS by PT. This AD is PS, therefore you can say that this is also PS. Therefore tan of alpha is equal to PS by PT, where PS stands for the separating component in Newton, alpha stands for the pressure angle. Then this will give us a relation PS is equal to PT into tan of alpha. See, we have already discussed that we want the forces as PT, PR and PA. PT we can calculate from MT. If you refer the last two force analysis for spur gear and helical gear, power is given, we can calculate MT, and if MT is given, we can calculate PT. So we want the relation of PR and PA in terms of PT only. Then and then only we can proceed. So this first equation, PS is equal to PT tan alpha. Now consider the next two triangles. So I will say here, consider the plane AFDE, or what is mentioned here, DEAF, no problem. Consider DEAF from triangle ADEF. So if I mention here the triangle AD and F, so this angle is shown gamma ADF. So I can say this is PA, therefore I can say this will be equal to PA. Therefore, cos of gamma is equal to PR by PS. So cos of gamma is equal to PR by PS. Therefore, PR is equal to PS cos of gamma. And similarly, I can say sin of gamma is equal to PA divided by PS. Therefore, PA is equal to PS sin of gamma. But we don't want this PR and PA in terms of PS. We are not having any formula to calculate for PS. Ultimately, this should be converted in the form of PT. But we have PS is equal to PT tan alpha. So I will substitute PR is equal to, this PS will become PT tan alpha into cos gamma, and this PA, here PS is there, PS will become PT tan alpha into, means I will replace here the value of PS and I will replace here the value of PS with PT tan alpha, and you will get the equation number 3 and 4. So these are the two equations by using which we can directly calculate our forces. So I can say here the tangential component can be determined by using the relation PT is equal to MT by RM. RM is the radius at midpoint. See, we have considered the force analysis at particular. If you refer this diagram, midpoint, it is neither at this lower end nor at the larger end, smaller end. It is at midpoint. Therefore, RM is the radius at this particular midpoint. So, we will calculate the PT by using MT divided by RM. RM is the radius of the pinion at midpoint. And how to calculate the RM? So, RM is equal to dP by 2 minus B sin gamma by 2. So, by using this equation, we can easily calculate RM and we can calculate PT. And if we can calculate PT, here by using these relations, if we are having PT, then we can calculate PR and PA. So write down these formulas. PT is equal to MT divided by RM. MT is the torque transmitted by gears. RM is the radius of the pinion at midpoint. RM is given by dP by 2 minus B sin gamma by 2. dP by 2 minus B sin gamma by 2. And if you calculate PT, then PR, the radial force, you can calculate. PR is equal to PT tan alpha cos gamma and PA is equal to PT tan alpha sin gamma. Now, the last point of this is the force analysis. Force analysis. So by using these equations, we can easily calculate the two forces. Now, the analysis, let us go for analysis only for pinion, and the opposite it we will consider for gear. So pinion, this is shown pinion, this is the RM, is point P. So whatever this you will get, this is the mean radius. So here it is shown PS. The PS is shown and PT is not shown. PT we cannot show here. PT is perpendicular to the plane of the paper. PT is perpendicular to this plane of laptop, or you can say PT is perpendicular if you are using mobile to the perpendicular to the mobile. It is we cannot show. So try to imagine the PT. We cannot show PT in this particular case. So Therefore, PT is not shown here. So now whatever this PS is there, the PS is divided into two parts. PS is divided into two parts. So in the next diagram, if you refer this as the pinion, so this is radius side, therefore it is shown here. You can see here the radial component. You can see here this is the radial component PR along the axis. So this is the axis. Okay. So along the axis, this is axial component, you can say PA. This is PS, and PT you cannot show. PTS you have to show dotted. You have to mark something, or you have to mark cross, and you have to show your PT. These are the directions for pinion. Now, very, very important, friends. The directions for gear are equal and opposite. So here I can say in this case, for gear, this is your PR and this is your PA in the axis, see here. But for gear, your PA is equal to PR of pinion, and for gear, your PR is equal to PA of pinion. So this is somewhat different as compared to others. So if you figure C, the radial component of gear, see here. This is the radial component of gear. It is equal to axial. This is the radial component. It is equal to axial. So this is your PR for gear. It is equal to PA for pinion. And this is your axial component, I can say, for gear, PA. So this is equal to PR, radial component. So this is the different, friends. So we have to calculate all the components of pinion, and then by taking care whatever the things I have mentioned, that radial component of gear is equal to axial component of pinion, and axial component of your gear is equal to radial component of pinion. So this is the consideration. So we have discussed now force analysis by using these three formulas. You can find out the forces, and by using these sign conventions, we can easily calculate all the forces. We can show the free body diagram, including the forces. So now this is all about the force analysis